All righty, happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday.
Hello, sir. Pardon me, I got food in my mouth. Good to see
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you all for coming in at such short notice. I know it was very short notice, just a couple of days ago. But
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time and coming in on Friday afternoon. Before we get started, I would like to take just a moment to introduce our new Director of Professional Standards and Labor Relations, Mr. Rivers Lewis.
Hello there. Welcome to our county.
He's been with us this week and promises he will be returning.
Well, that's good.
That's a test.
Welcome to Brevard. Stay for a while.
He keeps coming back.
Hope you stay for a while.
All righty, well, we've come back to the table because we do have a counter to your counter on the counter. On the
Let's
salary.
put it on the counter.
We will put it on the counter. I'll bring that across here in just a moment. I'm gonna ask Penny to walk us through this as I bring this across.
That's for
Our
them,
side?
and this is for us.
Okay.
What's for down that way.
This I've already got.
So this is what you sent me last time, and all my analysis is in red, so I wanted
Oh,
you to know I
okay.
really did. I took a good look at it.
So you've got more details than I had, but all right. See,
I finances,
Okay.
what I do, so I wanted to truly understand what you did and dug into it.
okay. Should we,
I
I'll
shared-
keep this upside down for now. I'm sorry, Rick. I'm gonna listen to you, and
That's
then
fine.
you tell us when to look at this.
I shared with you last week, as I had promised,
Mhm.
the report from DOE. So in there was, the first piece was the commissioner's request to the governor. We
Mhm.
won't see the governor's request until 30 days before legislation. And the odds of either one of them being what the legislators come out, I haven't seen that happen yet. The second was the legislative bodies' economic demographic report and what they're showing. And I emphasized for you in the email some pages that I thought you might want to be interested in. Last week, I did sit down as part of the Florida School Finance Council, which is an advisory committee to Commissioner Stewart in the Department of Education, as well as the Florida School Finance Officers, where we received information from DOE. The advice DOE has provided to all 67 counties and their CFOs is to hold reserves and prepare for adjustments down. The EDR report is not very positive. The cuts last year reduced the potential income as well as the impacts of the medical insurance for this year. It is my best belief that I cannot advise the school board to accept the offer that you made at the last time. That would require us to have to come up with $3.5–4 million on top of our current expenses after paying the portion of the raise for this year. That at this time, I have no indication that will be available to us. So we are putting together, I've put together another proposal, if you want to pass that out.
Three down here.
In this proposal,
Three down.
I am laying all my chips on the table. Everything that we have is available here. It offers a 1.3% increase, which is almost double what I originally offered. It's equal to approximately $3.17 million. How you would like to spread that $3.17 million is fine with us, as long as whatever that spread is, the estimated cost does not exceed $3.17 million. I heard what you had to say last time about retroactive pay. We would do a lump sum retroactive pay. Due to the holidays, hurricane pay, and some other stuff, we would propose that retroactive pay be paid out on the February 28th paycheck in a lump sum. So your teacher, our teachers would not see a change in their pay July 1. I know y'all don't care about the 12-month team members, but for us, that's
Well,
important.
we're not gonna say we don't care.
Well,
It's just-
this,
We're
you
not
know, how it
negotiating
affects
right
the
now for the
others, right.
people, we care very much about them, but
Right.
we're not negotiating
It was
for them.
bad language on my part.
That's all right.
You do care about them, and this piece of the language is not as impactful to you guys. The last thing we're bringing back on the table, and this is something I've actually been looking at for the last few months, is bereavement pay. And we would like to offer on the bereavement pay the following language. Up to 3 days of bereavement leave shall be granted to a team member at the time of death of an immediate family member, to include a spouse, child, parent, or grandchild. Such leave shall not be accumulated to sick leave. The number of days granted shall be determined as follows. 1 day, services to occur within Brevard County or its contiguous counties. 2 days, services to occur in a Florida county not in or contiguous to Brevard County. And 3 days if the service is to occur outside the state of Florida. I'd also like to throw in here, just remind you of some things that we've done in addition, which is the no-cost health clinics that we're putting in. The first one is scheduled to open December 14th, right here at the Vieira site. That is no charge to any team member who goes to see the doctor, any lab services performed at the clinic. In addition, 23 of the 50 top prescriptions that are provided to our team members will be free and available at the clinic. This is a program we're offering that will put more money back into our team members' pockets because they won't be paying the $40 fee, they won't be paying the fee for the prescriptions or any co-pays. We've also negotiated reduced premiums on their supplemental insurance for short-term disability, long-term disability, dental and vision that go into effect January 1. Again, leaving more money into their pocket. And I think one, while it's not dollars, is still important to note because our other counties around us are jealous. We successfully avoided any makeup days for Hurricane Matthew. We were able to prove to the state of Florida that we could continue and not have to take away days off that were promised to the teachers and to our students to have to make that up. This is what I have. It's everything that's available dollar-wise in our pot.
What we'd like to do is offer you caucus. I guess a few minutes, unless you want to go ahead and discuss.
How much would
that,
that
but
cost?
but I
No, of
think
course.
you probably want to caucus.
Right, well, of course we'll caucus, let me make sure we, make sure I just understand, all the details of it. Well, first of all, thank you for putting this all together. All right, going back to my, I just wanna make sure I understand this fully, this isn't haggling, this is making sure I get it. Going back to this document, which you seem to have it with some marks on it. Where, looking at the bottom right, where it says recurring, see that little section of numbers there at the bottom right? Where I have recurring written, and I put district put on table? Okay, that was a that was your, or I wanna confirm this, that your previous offer was 2.85, that number, 2,852,615. And so now you're saying that you could put a total on the table of that 3.17 million.
Yes.
Am I understanding these two
Yes,
offers right?
you're correct.
Now, again, we spoke last time, this is not a format that I can go out to people and have ratified. We have to get
Right. I
it more
understand
in this
that.
format. People want to see okay.
And-
But at least now you're saying, look, these dollars, and you're saying we'll go
And
work
we
out
can-
where it goes.
Those can be set in this format, and however BFT would like to set them in the format, as long as the estimated recurring cost does not exceed the 3.17.
Now, the district, so now, going back to this, your number, that old number of 2.8 million, that was highly effective at 550. I'm just asking confirmation of your numbers, because you had worked this out another time. Your
Right.
highly
Let
effective
me go
was,
back and pull that document, because I do not have it in front of me. summary was highly effective 550,
All right,
effective 450, and last year, previous employee 150. That was with the COLA being 150, effective 300, and highly effective 400.
okay. And essentially for the ESC certification, we were asking for, you had that zeroed out. And we were asking for advanced degrees of 5%, you had that zeroed out. All right, and by your multiplication, that worked out to 2.8 million. Did you get a chance to look at the part-time folks, just increasing part-time from, remember, we had the 4-7 teachers are currently
Well,
getting paid 60?
I looked at that analysis, and when I first did it, I got totally different numbers from you, because when I looked at this.
Well, I didn't have any numbers.
Well, the percentages.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Because here you had part-time teachers, 4 of 7 should be paid 67%, and part-time teachers, 5 of 7 should be 83. When I did 4 of 7, I got 57 and 71, but I believe those numbers are actually 4 of 6 periods. With
Yes,
planning period?
that's what,
Okay.
right, yes. A teacher right now, a secondary teacher that does 4 a day, 4 classes a day, obviously they're part-time, doing 4 a day. And the argument is that a traditional secondary teacher teaches 6 classes a day, right? So doing 4 of 6 would be 2/3, right? And so 67% of a salary is what they're at. They're teaching 67%
So it's actually 4
of a class load.
It was just confusing to me, but I think I figured that out. Other than looking at that, I have not put any numbers against it as far as what that would cost. I have not.
Okay. Do we know how many teachers we have that are doing the 4 periods a day, or how many we have that are doing the 5 periods a day?
No.
I mean, because this is expected to be minimal here. There's not a lot of teachers doing that, and the change from 60% to 67 is not a
I
big.
think it's because the numbers were confusing, and we didn't have, it wasn't
Yeah,
accurate.
I did not pull that.
They couldn't pull it, because we didn't have 4 or
Exactly.
7. I think that's what we needed clarification, are we talking 4 or 6?
Yeah, it's 4 of 6. It's
Right. It's
with-
basically during the day, they teach 4 classes a day out of a 7-period day.
Do
And the
we
way I
have
got
7
67%.
periods?
And 7 period or 6 period day?
Well, it's a
That's where it gets
7-period
good.
day.
It's a
but
7-period
assuming
student day?
One period is planning
Oh, with
period
the
for a
teaching
teacher, and a
force.
teacher
Gotcha.
Right.
teaches 6 periods. But no, I did not look to see how many teachers that would be. And we can try to find that out, I guess.
We just needed clarity around, was it 4 of 7 periods or 3 of 6 periods? That was where the.
No, they're
question
doing the
came.
4 periods a day. They're teaching 4 periods a day.
4 periods a day out of 7.
Out of a
possible
7-period
periods?
student day, right. A traditional teacher will teach 6 classes a day. We have some people that are teaching 4 classes a day, so say, well, if I'm teaching 2/3 of the classes, I should get 2/3 of the pay.
What they're looking at, though, is teaching, the percentage would be 4 out of 6 versus 4 out of 7. Because if it was 4 out of 7, the 60% we're offering is greater than the 57% it 4 out of 7 calculates. As I interpret it, and Dan, correct me if I'm interpreting it wrong, it's 7 for student, 6 periods for teachers with a planning period as
Right.
the 7th period.
You're still expected to have their
And so
plan.
the 67 is saying that they're teaching 4 periods out of 6 periods that a teacher would
That's where-
teach.
okay.
Right, that's where those
4 out of
2/3 come from.
6 teaching periods.
It took me a while to get that too, right.
Okay.
Basically, a teacher
And then you
doing,
want to prorate what they're compensated based on those people who teach the 4 out of 6 rather than teaching the 6 out of 6 instructional period.
right.
Okay.
I mean, it's already the district does a proration. Already the district says you want to be part-time, we have to assign a percent to you.
Right.
And those percents were set up back in the days when it was a 6-period student day. Now it's a 7-period student day.
And they haven't
And,
been, the percentages haven't been adjusted to compensate for that other period.
But
Right.
was it,
So-
See, teachers used to teach 5 classes a day.
Out
So
of
if someone
7.
did 4 out of 5, they got 80% of the pay. Because they were teaching 4 classes. Either it was part-time, instead of teaching 5 classes a day, they taught 4 classes a day, so they consider that an 80% employee for missing a class. Now, if they miss a class, they're doing 5 out of 6, and that should be 83%, not the old 80%.
We can.
These aren't huge percents here, and it's not a lot of
No.
people. I mean, it really will be a minimal cost here.
If, while they're caucusing, can we find out how many people might be in?
Sure.
Well, you're not gonna come back and, Dan, that's $10 million right there. I mean, you're
I'm
gonna,
not
I mean, it's gonna
suggesting
be,
it is, but.
I bet it would be less than 20,000.
Yeah, exactly, that's what
So we'll, while you're caucusing, we'll pull that number and take a
Sure,
look at that.
thank you. I bet that's less than 20,000 that we're,
Is that asking about
And he just doing it.
We can look at that.
Did
Benny,
you
if
get
the-
any clarification or?
yeah, at this, sometime early in the school year, when they set the budget and they send the money down, or they tell you what they're gonna be sending down or something, they always give the warning about, now, there could be a proration, right? They always kind of sort of say that. Do you know what kind of proration they said, look out for this prorate? Did they?
No.
Did they give a dollar or a percent?
They have not given us a dollar. We're still waiting to hear about this year's proration.
Mhm.
We asked specifically, because we were originally told to expect up to $2 million worth of proration in our district at third calc. We haven't received third calc yet. We as CFOs asked specifically about that, and DOE said they still were too early in the calculations to tell us if it would be. When we went around the table, there were more districts who were up, which leads up in their
In their FTE.
projections, which leads more to think prorations are possible. At this point, I don't know. What I gathered from the conversations had at both my meetings is they're not looking at proration being the issue as much as the funding being the issue, that we could see an adjustment in the funding down before we ever look at prorations. That was what I heard in both of my meetings
You mean funding for next year or funding for this year?
for next year.
Okay, because it's funding for this year, that's a proration. Funding for
Right.
next year is the concern.
And we're looking to fund any proration. It was already considered, I have money set aside for any potential proration. It's not a lot.
Did you set aside the $2 million?
No, I did not set aside $2 million, but if it's
Would you-
more than I have, then I'll have to come up with it somewhere.
Would you care to tell us how much you've set aside for proration?
It's probably somewhere around $1 million at the moment.
All right. Is there anyone else over here that has any deep-rooted financial questions for?
This isn't a big deal, but I just wondered, when you guys are talking about the clinics that you're putting in place, those are for employees that have the district health insurance, right?
At this time, yes.
But family as well, right? Employees
Family
and
as well,
family,
employee,
right.
anyone covered under the health insurance at the moment. There is talk at some point down the road of possibly opening it up to all employees, but we need to get it up and running, make sure it's gonna do exactly what we anticipate it to do. My personal experience from past life started it up, it's a district that has been very successful with their health clinics and ended up taking it open full wide. They did 2 large health clinics. We're doing 3 smaller. They took it after the first clinic within a year, open full wide. I know that Mr. Langdorf was very interested in doing that, but we're not starting out right away with it.
And did you say where they were going to be located?
One will be located here at Viera.
It's already there.
Yeah, it's the building's there. If you look out past our parking lot,
Oh, yeah.
that building that's been put in is the current one.
Under the flagpole?
I do not remember, and I.
One's going by Jackson.
Oh, you are down
Jackson.
there. Can you help me?
Yeah, actually, the first clinic, you'll see, it's actually being constructed in the overflow parking lot. So if you leave today and go to the overflow parking lot, you'll see where all the construction is. They just put in the gutters and the sidewalks are gonna go in next week, so we're getting very close. December 14th it's opening. And by the way, it's open to employees, their spouses under the health plan, their dependents under the health plan, retirees that are taking our health insurance, or if they have dependents that are under our health care So it's available to anyone who's receiving.
That's
coverage.
under our health care.
Yes,
But if they're not under our health care, then they can't come.
not at this time, but we want to make sure it works, and once that happens, we're gonna look to try and expand it, possibly our part-timers.
Okay, is Jackson's will be open next, or Jackson's last?
Here's my goal at this point, as long as the board approves the site development costs in either December or January. We will open the next clinic in the south area, probably the beginning of April, that's the goal. And the north area will open the end of April. It's hard to open two clinics at the same time, we need a couple of weeks in between. But I'm hoping that they will all be open in April.
Have you looked any more at moving Jackson's from the middle of the bus loop to over on the other side?
No, it wouldn't work for what we would have to do, our site development costs would be way too high. And I think I've communicated with the principal, so I think it's gonna be fine there. You'll see where the site development is, I think it shouldn't be an issue at all. And actually, it's the most accessible for everyone, because it's right on there on Hood and Knoxville, correct?
Right in the middle of the bus loop.
Well, it's in the dirt and grass area that's east of that, so it's not in the bus loop itself.
I don't know.
As you pull in, there will be a driveway that drives over to the clinic, so people will not be parking in the bus loop now, expected. And there will be an exit that takes them out on Hood, so you go in and out on Hood.
I just know what, my grandson played basketball there, and I just know what the place is like for parent conferences and basketball games and stuff. That's all I was thinking of.
You're gonna have drive-through flu shots where you just roll up and you jam out the window and you go up.
I don't think drive-through I don't think drive-through flu shots will ever happen, but.
Come on now.
I'm
What are you
pretty-
paying for?
I'm pretty assured that people are gonna enjoy the experience of that.
All right, you let me know when I can get a flu shot at the drive-through.
Anyway.
Okay, well, thank you. We're gonna take, we'll stay here?
Sure.
Run out?
Sure.
Okay.
Check back with you and
Yeah, we'll meet up in the hall about 20 minutes. About 20, about a quarter to 3. I'll find you somewhere in that hallway. Rick, are we back? I know we're back. That was silly. Is the
We are
microphone on,
back.
the recording back on?
everything is back on, ready to go.
And this will be a little anticlimactic, but thank you. It starts with a thank you because y'all put some time in and did find some more money, and that is appreciated. We recognize that time is marching on, and we at some point we have to give you a serious answer. But we just need a little more time to put all this together. First, we need to give you a structure. There's pros and cons to doing it this way. When you say, here's the money, now go figure it out, that is appreciated. You're giving us the empowerment to do it, to structure it, but it takes a little longer for us to haggle among ourselves, and we all get along great, but let me just put the blame where it belongs. It's Vanessa that, no, I'm just no, I'm just kidding. But it takes a little more work on our end, it takes a little more responsibility on our end to put it all together. And figure out the structure, and then also to decide, when we do put things together, we go, this number looks good, and you start multiplying and figuring, well, that's past where you said, and how much are we gonna push and not, and go back and all that. So we blew through 3 calculators and a pack of pencils to get us to this point. But what I do wanna say is that we are committed to work on this and keep moving forward. I don't have a structure or counter at this moment. We recognize time is moving on though. There's a board meeting in December that if all possible, we'd like to announce results. But before we do that, we have to have a good solid thing to give everybody. Rick, I'm gonna work over this coming week and through the holiday to make sure that we have our proposal, everything we've already tentatively agreed to together. We started with this book that's got a lot of red in it, a lot of structure, so we will have everything ready to go accept this the next time we come together, so that if we do have an agreement, we're ready to shoot it out to members immediately, and then Anthony and I and Vanessa, to whatever extent she can, she's not on leave, but whatever extent we can, we will cover the county, we will webinar, we will meet people, all we can to get out explanations and everything, so we can try to get you results December 13th, if we do reach an agreement next time we meet. But we are gonna have to meet another time. And we would like to suggest that time be the Monday right after Thanksgiving, as opposed to the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Hopefully, it will not be a terribly long meeting, if we're down to this.
As
Does that work for y'all?
As Ms. Zucker mentioned at the beginning, this is everything we have. She's put everything out on the table at this point. The numbers, you worked out the way you need to. You know, she
Okay.
gave you a dollar amount, that's what she is able to provide you with. We've added the bereavement pay, which you have pushed for the last few months.
Appreciate it, by the
We
way.
discussed the.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that is appreciated. That is a very positive sign.
We've added the employee wellness clinics that were discussed earlier, and the benefits that go along with that, the DD, the LTD, the STD, dental, and vision. The 3 days, the 3 hurricane days, that's 1.5% of your working days that you guys have now. Districts around us do not have that. Once again, Ms. Zerker and her team work feverishly with state to get those days. Those are 3 days of pay that you're able to keep. We can delay until that Monday. We're not gonna find a magic pot of money between now and then. As you mentioned, time is of the essence. We are running out of time to be able to get something approved for this calendar year. I would greatly encourage a positive outcome today. If you're unable to, you're unable.
Are you guys good on the Monday? On that Monday?
We're good today.
I know. We know you're good today.
I think what needs to be clear is that however you structure it, it has to be structured based on the amount that we just gave. A counter on the amount is not gonna happen. The structure that you decide, I think, was very clear today, that we want you to structure it the way that you want to, but the money, the bottom line, the amount that was offered is not gonna change from this Monday to next Monday to the Monday after that. I think that the things that have been outlined are the bottom line, it's the final offer. And if we don't have an agreement, then we need to go to the next step. But that money is it. How you structure it, though, is how you can structure it the way you deem necessary as BFT for your constituents.
Well, I think we're a little premature for threats, but we will come back to the table on Monday and work on that.
It's not a threat, Dan, I'm trying to make it clear.
Nobody's trying to threaten.
Well, it's basically just told if I don't accept on Monday, we're going to the next step. And I think we're
Well,
a
no.
little inappropriate for that, but,
I think what she's trying to say, Dan, if I may, is she's just trying to iterate. I have put every dollar I have on the table.
I appreciate that iteration, but I did
And-
hear what she said. And thank you for
and-
explaining what she said, but I heard it. Rick, would you sometime, perhaps before given the time is of the essence, would you, as quick as possible, just kind of confirm those numbers that we had in our offer? Just perhaps they had changed somewhere. The COLA, I put in a number of teachers on this chart that I gave you. I had a number of teachers on COLA, and I don't expect you to have it now, but if it's been a payroll run, just if anything there has changed, you'll let me know in the next couple days, please.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like 433 teachers unaffected. If someone had resigned or quit or something, or left, or highly effective, you know, as those numbers change, they're small changes, but they're changes.
I will have this to you right away.
Okay. Thank you. And then we'll build spreadsheets here. I'll send it all to you on email. Okay, we're good for Monday, 4 o'clock Monday?
I don't know that we looked at that. I do have one thing that I just want you to consider. I know you're gonna organize it the way you have, the way you wanna structure it, but in recent discussions, you talked about an increase in advanced degree payments.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever considered, you never brought it up in any of the negotiations, for recruitment purposes for Brevard Public Schools, if you ever considered the first-year teachers looking at that initial salary. Just something I would like you to consider as the HR recruiter.
Okay. Yeah, last year we had I forget what we called it. It was it wasn't just for first year, it was an across-the-board something, but it was like the rising
So
tide.
for the
Right.
baseline, the base coming in, that's all I wanted. I've not heard any discussion in regard to that. I just hope that that's being considered as well.
Yeah, well, you're right, that hasn't come up yet. We, in a good money year, we were able to hit everything.
Right.
But, you know, that number, I believe, whatever it was, I think it was 736, ironically called 736 right after the legislation, it was,
Something to that effect.
but that was based on the effective raise from the year before. And, what was the effective raise from last year?
It was like from 13, 14, I believe.
Yeah, so we would love to have been able to keep that going, but yes, but duly noted, we'll kind of consider that, see what we can do. So Rick, you'll see what numbers we got, and are we on for the 28th
What time?
at 4?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on that? Do we say 4:30?
4:30 would be nicer, then I
Would
don't.
4:30 be good? Okay.
Get out of my class early.
Some of us scooting out with kids, 4:30 would be a little better. I don't see it being a drag into the night sort of thing.
That's fine. I'm fine with
I'm just making sure that that's okay.
Space Coast, I'll let you out and get your,
I actually have basketball.
You play basketball?
No, but I get to watch it.
You don't have anything in the bus look that's blocking you, do you?
I don't.
4:30 bargain. Hey, they put it right in there.
Four thirty?
Yes.
Are we good?
I'm done at 5, so I have a meeting with the superintendent, but I'll ask him to cut it short. I'm sure he will, because I know how much he wants this.
We could go, I mean, we could push it to 5
No,
if
he
we
wants
like.
to settle. I will do
Yeah,
it.
imagine he does, yeah.
We need to settle this.
He
We'll
wants
be
it
here
settled.
till-
You have a 4:30 with me?
I have a 4.
I have a 4:30 with me. I was just getting ready to to tell him I.
Bring him in here, bring him.
This might be,
We'll be
He
here-
can sit on our side.
We'll
Bring
be
him
here
in.
at 4:29.
Okay. Thank you all. Let me reiterate the appreciation. I know y'all giving a lot of time on both sides. Thank you to my team. Thank you to your team, Rick. Everybody,
you.
this ain't easy.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.